Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday. And yeah, I'm back in this ship. The last time I played this ship was probably about 2 years ago. I mean, I probably could go find out because I did videos on them. But I played the Ismo back when she was pre-buffed. So a lot of people, and probably still a lot of people, think the Ismo is kind of a stinker. I mean, I still kind of fall true with that, but one thing to keep in mind is in this battle, this Ismo is stock because I'm poor and I'm trying to grind my way through the coal, so I'm a little poor right now with the Ismo. So she's not upgraded at all, and I don't even think she has a good enough captain, nor do I think she has the concealment module. So there are obviously a few things going against her right now. As you can see, 16.7 kilometers is our detect. I am joined with Dread in the Z46 and Formal, where is he? There he is, in the Kronstadt. So at least I have good backup. That's always very beneficial to actually have someone who you can rely on to help cover your butt. One little funny thing, if anyone was paying attention to the chat, was the fact that I said happy holidays, and someone yelled at me for, there is, happy holidays. I take offense. This was actually done before Christmas, I believe a couple days before Christmas. So, well, we'll come back to that here in a little while. Firing on the rune. Let's see how the dispersion holds. Now, the Ismo, her caliber on her shells are really strong. I mean, they are large caliber shells. They hit like a truck. Yes, they're not as impressive as the Yamato. And that's the issue I think a lot of people have, is the dispersion on the Ismo is kind of wonky at times. It's not particularly great. And I believe another major issue with the Ismo is her gun setup is not the best. I prefer the Nelson's gun setup. I prefer that third turret being able to face forward and turn that 360 compared to how it is currently set up with this style, which is very normal with other ships where the third and fourth turret are in the rear of the ship versus being more up front. So it's kind of similar with that, but with the Nelson you can get away with not as showing as much broadside. Buffalo is kind of standing still. The enemy team is, well, they're kind of lemming train, as you will be seeing. They're lemming train towards the A cap, which is going to be very beneficial for us because we're actually going to push in quite heavily into A, take control it, getting nice hits on the Buffalo, get 2 over penetrations, and that's also kind of the issue with those light cruisers. Granted, the Buffalo is technically not a light cruiser, it's technically a heavy cruiser, is just the penetrations sometimes, and it looks like there was a run in there. Mahan, unfortunately, has come up against a Z46, and that's not probably the best situation for him to find himself in. Fire to Salvo didn't really land anything, and I will have to say the Ismo's not really an attractive ship, especially not upgraded. It's definitely not a very attractive ship at all. So I mean, I really do understand how people and why people don't like her. I can completely understand her, or stand that. It's kind of a stinker because you go from the Amagi, and I love my Amagi, don't get me wrong, I love my Amagi to death. I think she's a fantastic battleship. I really need to touch base with her, make sure she's feels loved, because I haven't actually played her in a little while. Shame on me. But Ismo, like I said, the caliber on the guns is fantastic, and you get better, I believe, better caliber shells once you get the hull upgraded. They actually change the ammo, or the shell type, to a different shell type. And Rune, this poor Rune is pretty much off by himself, and lo and behold, there is a Belfast captured B. And fortunately for him, I slowed up, didn't get around this corner fast enough because, well, all my salvo just goes directly into the island. Fortunately, we're distant away from the rune. That is, torpedoes shouldn't pose a big problem, but the enemy team is actually doing quite well for themselves. They do have 2 of the capture points, and they are currently 1 ship ahead, but here in a moment they are going to lose the rune, even as I slowly traverse my guns around. So, as far as playing the Ismo, I think it's really kind of the issue is the normal play, I guess, with the Ismo is very standard that you see with the North Carolina and the Iowa. But there's a much better way, and that's actually kiting, because your angle on your first 3 turrets actually has a better angle firing at this type of angle that I'm currently looking at versus trying to go more towards bow end, because you're showing a lot more broadside just to get your 3rd turret, and your 3rd turret has major issues with the ability to angle for that. So kiting away is actually a really good thought process to use, because you're able to get all 3 turrets off. You're still angled enough that you're able to not get citadeled, and that's kind of the issue some people have with the Ismo, is the fact that she does have kind of a fairly big citadel. But one nice thing of fact that they buffed her is they also increased her deck armor thickness, so she's no longer as susceptible to HE as she used to be, which is extremely beneficial. Does mean you can take that HE salvo with stride and not really have major issue. Do get a citadel on that Megami. Poor Megami. I love the Megami too, but it's just a floating citadel, especially with a lot of these tier 9 and 10 battleships that they face, even the tier 8 battleships, even tier 7, even tier 6. Yeah, the Megami's has some weaknesses, to say the very least. So fortunately for us, we are currently able to spot the Belfast due to Dread's Hydro, so it's very, very beneficial. And this Belfast really doesn't have much place to maneuver, that he's gonna, well, come pretty much broadside to an Ismo. Let's see how bad my dispersion is. Okay, granted that was probably more misjudgment on lead than anything else, and he slows up, and I believe that actually right now Dread's Hydro is on him, so his smoke is pretty much worthless to him, and even Dread is getting in on this, but I actually do manage to get the kill with the secondaries, and these secondaries honestly aren't too bad. I mean, they're nothing really overly impressive. But they do have a nice 3 triple 152mm at the rear of the ship, so at least you do have some benefit from that. Now we do manage to fully capture B, and this is actually a really good position because you're able to support your friendlies, especially downrange, able to fire without really being spotted. Granted, yes, I probably should be tanking a bit more, but hey, doing almost 12,000 points off of that FDG is no slouch. That is helping one way or another. And this is kind of going to be the position I'm going to be sitting in for a little while. Going to get some fairly good damage against the FDG. But we do know there is at least a Kitakaze. I believe Dread is currently spotting the Kitakaze at the moment and keeping him lit, so preventing him from bum rushing us, which is actually very interesting because it did look like he was thinking about it. But there's actually another ship that is gonna think it's gonna be a fantastic idea to try to bum rush an Ismo and a Z46. And this poor Buffalo, I don't know if he knows, but there is an Ismo sitting right here in this channel, and yeah, his days are numbered. Bye bye. There we go, got the Citadel, took out the enemy Buffalo, and now our team is actually ahead in points and ships, and there is the Jean Bart. That Jean Bart was actually the one who made that comment a little bit earlier. And I will admit, I make a comeback. We'll see. Guns are almost reloaded. The reload time on the Ismo's not fantastic. Granted, I don't think I have the reload module on this, but dispersion's not too bad. And there we go. Kill number 6. And currently sitting at 121,257 points of damage. And there's my sneaky little comeback. I know, I probably really shouldn't have, but it happens. Enemy team is currently down quite a number of ships, and they're not really able to do much. We are currently being radared by the Kronstadt, but once again, the enemy team doesn't really have a good position to where they're actually able to do anything about it, because I do have support of a Z-46, plus obviously Ismo's gun caliber is pretty darn big, so any cruiser decides to really push in is going to have probably a terrible time. And yeah, this position is actually really powerful, able to deal significant amount of damage. They're eventually going to try to push around the south side. We'll see that in a moment, but right now we're just gonna try to farm some damage. And that would have been nice, but that was actually not the damage I was hoping for. It almost looked like I did it, but only did 3,000 against that lion. But it's alright, it will be fine. And we do have the Kronstadt at least targeted and spotted. Enemy team is at least doing a good job. They are trying to push back, because for the most part our team is fairly separated. As you can see, we have 2 south and we have 3 north, and lo and behold, there is a Sims spotted and a Massachusetts. Actually, I think that's one of our first points of damage. And it looks like the Massachusetts is getting in range with its secondaries, and I don't know if this is actually a Massachusetts with IFHE secondaries. That would be very interesting. And lo and behold, here is the enemy Mogami, who is really determined to push in, try to make a play. And granted, yes, Mogami can be extremely dangerous because it does have 8 torpedoes per side. Or is that 10? Oh, poor Mogami. I love you so much. I just don't quite remember. And Salvo goes kind of awry. Get over penetrations, but he is going to go down to the torpedo spread from Dread. Dread does get the kill, does manage to survive. And as you can see, we are currently the main focus of the enemy team. All that's left on the enemy team is a Kitakaze, a Massachusetts, and a Sims. And I wonder where those 3 ships are. Now, you did probably, or do probably remember me mentioning it, that the Ismo's deck armor has been buffed, and it's quite noticeable with all this HE coming in our way. And this right here kinda annoys me. I will fire, I think, 3 total salvos against this Massachusetts as the clock is coming down to the end, and I do not net a Citadel. I don't know if it's just my bad aiming at times, or if it's in fact just the dispersion. I do not know. I think we're able to get maybe 1 more salvo. He's even currently reversing broadside to us. He is firing HE or AP, which is nice. Earned Confederate currently sitting at 157,000 points of damage, so overall very nice. Him reversing, trying to get away from any potential torpedoes because our damage control is on cooldown, but the enemy team is going to lose this here in just a moment. We're currently 25 seconds away from winning. Can we get at least 1 more salvo off? We should be able to. Let's see if we can get kill number 4. That would be fantastic. And that should not be it, because I only land 1 shell, and this Massachusetts is going to go down, I believe, to formal. But this is going to be it for this video. Not a bad game with the Ismo, especially considering how long since I've last played it. Overall, not a bad game. So thank you guys so much for joining in and watching Funday Sunday. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Jen.